What up? What's up? What's
Yo, yo, yo!
what's up, you guys? Come on in the room.
What's good, young people?
How y'all doing today? Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Let me know who is in the room.
If you can hear us, give us
A thumbs up if
a
you can hear
thumbs
us.
up or something. I don't want to talk for 10 minutes and not know nobody can hear us.
They can hear us. They can hear us. Come on in the room. How y'all doing?
Need some lotion.
They said they can hear us. They
They
can
can
hear us.
hear us. Yes, yes,
Hey,
yes.
Yasmin. Hey, Erie.
Who we got? Who we got? Who we
Hey, Miss
got?
Parker.
What's up, Miss Parker? You are on my list to talk to.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, we planned this Vegas trip, but we really didn't understand that it was spring break the next week.
Yes, I did. You didn't
I
understand.
didn't understand.
I did.
So we went from enjoying the birthday to spring break with having 4 kids at the house. So needless to say, I'm a little behind.
Come on in the room. Today we are going to dig deep into why most people fail when it comes to their rehab, when it comes to getting that part to take it to the next level, to automate it. Not necessarily automate it, but to scale it. Let me say that.
Yeah.
To scale it. If you ever wondered why the rehab part of the business is the toughest part, today we're going to talk about it. All right. We're going to talk about how to avoid those challenges when it comes to managing the contractors, when it comes to making sure that your project runs smoothly. All right. Let me say this, no project will run absolutely smooth. Every project will be different. But if you take the time and you implement these steps that we're going to talk about today, then you are going to eliminate a lot of the unnecessary costs that come up, a lot of the change orders, and a lot of the headaches that you have when it comes, or that's going to come when it comes to renovations. All right.
One thing that I would say is construction is hard, but it's not complicated. All right.
We are complicated and we make it far more complicated than it should be. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, Antonio.
That's what I'm gonna
But I,
say. What I was gonna say was construction is hard, but it's not complicated. There are rules, there are procedures, there are policies that you must follow to make it flow.
absolutely.
All
All
right.
right. The most important technique when it comes to a rehab is
We started early, all right? You flying.
always one on one.
You flying. You flying, all right? I know you ain't used to being early. I know you
You
ain't
got a
used
low
to it.
blow. I'm about to.
I know you ain't used to it.
I'm about to get on you with this low blow.
One thing I will say is like to all of our current ex-Clipper students, most of you guys don't have what we're going to present today. We talked about some of it in bits and pieces, but most of the time we talk about this with people who are trying to scale, who are trying to do multiple projects, who already have their construction team in place. A lot of times on your first project, you don't have time to do a lot of these things because you're looking for your contractor.
Yeah.
Um,
And you don't know what it is that that contractor really does good. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 projects with that contractor to really get a feel for them to know, okay, you are absolutely amazing at this, but you told me you was good at this, but you're not the best at this. So let me bring someone else to do the part that you're not the best at. And let me keep you where you shine the most on the parts that you're great at. So understanding that contractor is extremely important. Understanding how you guys work together and flow are just as equally important.
Yes. So we do have a binder that we do for our projects. When we're doing multiple projects, we do have our construction rehab binder that we like to use. So at the end, we're going to go over that in more detail, and we're actually going to give you guys a copy of it so that you can have it to take and do with your projects. Mm-hmm. Now, can you use this on one-off projects? Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes, you can. If you have the time to do it, do it. But don't get caught up focusing on this binder and you don't got no contract. Mm-hmm. All right, finding your contractors is more important than implementing this binder and the things that's in it.
Absolutely. All right, y'all ready to go? I need to know.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Are ready?
I ain't ready yet.
You're not ready.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's just gonna be difficult. That's all. Oh, okay. I see some thumbs up. I need to know I'm ready in the chat. Type in the chat. I'm ready. If you're ready, otherwise we can just we don't even have to do today. We can go and do something fun with the kids for spring break.
You threaten people like that. You ain't got to threaten people like that. But you ain't got to threaten people like that. You go for the juggler. You ain't got to go for the juggler. You ain't got to go for. You went for the juggler.
Hey, Miss Rita. Hey, Miss Ward. Hey, Miss Washington. Miss Johnson says she's ready. Okay.
All right. Let's go.
All right. So when
hold up.
What are you doing?
Hold up, bro.
All right.
So just go.
As Antonio is doing whatever he's doing, we are going to proceed. Let me say this. If you feel like this training will be beneficial to anyone you know, make sure you tag them, make sure you invite them, especially if they are not in the group already, make sure you invite them. If there is someone you know that they are ready to go from one and you're doing 3 properties and they're having a hard time maybe juggling them, make sure you invite them into the group because this is going to speak to them as well. This is for the newbies and for the people who are really looking to do multiple projects at one time or struggle when they try to do multiple projects at one time. All right. So one of the most important techniques when it comes to rehab is managing your contractors. All right. Managing them, understanding what the flow is, understanding what it should look like so that you can literally be on one accord with your contractors. We found that so many people struggle when it comes to rehabs because they don't have a clear plan on exactly what should be done, on exactly what they want done, on exactly what that timeline should be, and what that budget should be before even going into the project.
Another reason that people struggle is because they don't understand the contractor language. Contractors talk in a different language than just regular retail people. So you got to understand that language and make sure that you're saying the same thing and you're not making any assumptions.
For example,
we're doing examples right now?
Well, I wanted to give an example. For example, so we did a project. We were probably like in our second or third flip in, and we were doing a project in Glen Iris. And this project, the contractor told us, we thought we were getting someone to come in and put the tile in the master bathroom. All right, so it was already demoed. They were supposed to put the tile in, put the fixtures in, and then we were done with that part. Well, what we found out, because we didn't speak the same language, we found out that the person that we hired, he was a person that lays the towel, not a person that actually sets and cleans the towel. So like we found out that what we were asking him to do and why he was so cheap was because he wasn't doing the complete towel job. He was only laying the towel down. And when I tell you he didn't clean the towel, it was hazy. Like it took us weeks to recoup because we were literally speaking the wrong language when it comes to what needed to be done on that project. So that communication, making sure you're speaking the right language, asking them questions is so important when it comes to managing your contractors.
Go.
Go.
Go. Let's go.
Hey, Dietrich. Hey, Ashley. Hey, y'all. So, look. So, speaking the same language is important. And when you start speaking the same language, like ask the questions. Are you saying this? Is this what you really mean? Give me an example of what you're saying. Like, don't make any assumptions. Don't assume that you guys, yeah, that's what I meant. No, what exactly do you mean? Here's exactly what I mean so that we can get as close to speaking the same language as possible. All right. If they're using a term that you don't know, so what does that really mean? What, like, don't be afraid. It does not make you seem like you don't know what you're talking about, but it does show that you are trying to learn their language and you are trying to get them to understand you at the same time. All right. You want to the next one?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
I just asked you if you was gonna go to the next
I'm
one.
following you, baby.
I don't want to follow. I want you to lead.
No, you don't. No.
Go.
No control over your budget or timeline. One of the things that you gotta continue to do is manage your budget. You can't let the contractor control the budget. You have to be in control. You have to be the one making decisions. I'm not saying don't get their input. I'm not saying don't listen to their suggestions, but you got to make decisions based on your budget. They don't really care about your budget. All right, they're gonna try to blow your budget up, no matter what you say.
Up still for 200, please.
Yes. So make sure you are tracking your expenses and managing your budget.
Mm-hmm. And the moment you don't track your expenses, the moment you don't manage that budget is when you lose your leverage. All right. You lose control over the project. You lose control over the timeline. You lose control over how much money was spent. Never, never, never give the contractor more money than work that has been completed. We talked about that in the conference we were at this weekend, where this is seen nationwide that investors are paying contractors more money than work that has been completed. And this is probably one of the most common killers in investors going over budget, not being able to finish their projects because they didn't take the time out to manage the budget and make sure that they didn't lose leverage. All right. So make sure you are staying in control of your budget and you're not letting the contractor lead. This is your project. You are the investor. This is your investment. So you should be leading full force. All right. One rule that we have, not rule, but one method that we've created over the years based on a couple of failures, a couple of successes when it comes to rehab is our rehab control method. And that rehab control method helps us to identify how that project is going to flow, who we're going to use for that project, and what those breakdowns are going to be. Tanya, tell them about the 80-20 scope when it comes to our rehab control method.
And that's the next slide.
Okay. And you could have led into it without speaking it, Tanya.
Okay, 80-20. So the 80-20 to us is where you divide your scope of work up into sections. And we like to give 80% of the work to one main carpenter type person. All right. The person that's going to do the paint, they're going to do the flooring, they're going to do framing, they're going to install cabinets, they're going to do windows, like they're going to do the bulk of the work. Mm-hmm. All right. And then we like to pull 20% out. The 20% usually consists of MEPs. And what MEPs stand for is mechanical, electrical, plumbing, gas, those things you need permits for. All right. Now that doesn't mean this is just the only way to do it. All right. But what I like to do is find out what my 80% contractor can do with his eyes closed. All right. If he's not good at tile, I might pull the tile out of 80 and put it into 20. All right. Let's say that he's not good with landscaping. I might pull the landscaping out of the 80 and put it into 20. Okay. So you are basing this 80-20 off of a main contract. All right. So the benefits to this is it stops you from overpaying. A lot of times when you can go directly to an electrician or directly to a plumber or directly to a electrician, that price is different. What general contractors do is general contractors will come in and they will bid out each job and they will put their price on top of whatever the electrician says. They'll put their price on top of whatever the plumber says. So, for example, if I am replumbing a house and the plumber tells the general contractor it's going to cost $7,000, the general contractor going to tell me, hey, it's $10,000 because he's going to make money from managing that guy, which he should make money.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying he shouldn't. All right, understand. If you got a general contractor and he's managing these people, there's a fee for that.
And you should pay the fee.
And you should pay the fee. But when you are going directly to a lot of these big ticket sources, you can get better prices. All right.
Go ahead.
Another reason that we like this breakdown is it gives us flexibility to move things around and negotiate. So if I have a good landscaping guy, I know where to fit him in his schedule. If I have a good tile person, I know where to fit them in. All right. So it gives us control of the project. And that's why, hence, it's called the rehab control method, because you got to control this project. If you want to be successful in doing multiple projects, if you want to be successful in real estate, you can't just put all your eggs into the contractor, the general contractor, or the head contractor basket. You got to be able to manage it. You got to be able to understand how it works. All right. Or you got to pay more money. And if you pay more money, you're going to do less deals. All right.
So when we say your scope, because I realized we didn't break that down. So when we say your scope, we also call that your scope, your SOW, your scope of work. And what that means is it's a general outline of the things that are going to be done in the project. So for example, you are going to paint the exterior, you're going to repair any rotten wood, you are going to paint the shutters, you're going to replace the roof, you're going to put new cabinets in, you're going to frame up a new bathroom. Like, it is literally the steps that are going to be taken to take project from A to Z. All right. So that's what we mean when we say scope. We also call it a scope of work or an SOW. All right.
So just a quick example. So my main guy, all right, I'm going to tell you the things that he's not good at. All right. If I have to replumb a house, he's not good at that. If I have to rewire a house, he's not good at that. He does not like to do yard work. He does not install countertops. What else does he not like to do after I'm missing?
He doesn't do.
He don't do any gas.
Any gas, roofing.
He don't do any roofing, but everything else he does. So if I give him the 80% and I fit in the other 20% as he's going, I get my project done faster. I control the project. I'm on top of my numbers. I'm getting less change orders because I'm managing.
All right. So one of the biggest mistakes that we see most newbies make is they rely on the contractor to give them the scope of work. All right. So a lot of newbies will say, oh, I'm going in with my contractor to tell me how much this rehab is going to cost. All right. That's a big no-no. Never, ever, ever, ever do that. All right. You make your list of things that you want done first before the contractor even walks in. All right. You have to know what it is that you see that needs to be done, what it is that you want done, and then you bring the contractor in and they tell you what their numbers are based on what you want done. The reason why sending the contractor there to do it before you actually do it is a no is because they are going to convince you to change the whole layout of what you even originally imagined. And if you don't even have a vision, then you're just all over the board and you're not going to be on budget. Um, you it's not even going to be a deal anymore because they're giving you all of these visions versus you as the investor starting out with your vision. All right. Another big thing that we see newbies make the biggest mistake on is getting different types of prices from contractors. All right. Not recognizing things from an apples to apples and an oranges to oranges. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if contractor A gives you a labor only price and contractor B gives you a labor and material price, and then contractor C gives you a labor and material price, you can't look at all three of them from apples to apples because it's apples and oranges. Like, you need everybody. If you're going to accept a labor only price, then accept the labor only price from all contractors. If you're going to accept a labor and material price, then you need to accept a labor and material price from all contractors
in that section.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And let me piggyback on what Ashley's saying. If I'm getting a HVAC quote, a new HVAC install, if I want labor and material, everybody got to give me labor and material. If I want just labor, everybody got to give me just labor so I can make a decision based on that. I can't have one HVAC person give me labor and material and another one just give me labor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with electrical or plumbing or your 80%. If you're going to get labor and material, you get labor and material from everybody in that section. So like for us, just nuggets that we like, with my 80% contractor, y'all know who, y'all got a feel for what he doing. He paint inside, he paint outside, he doing flooring, he framing, he sheetrocking, he doing
tile,
he doing tile, he doing all that good stuff.
All that.
I like to get a labor only price, all right? But for my granite guy, I get a labor and material price. If I am installing a HVAC system, I like to get a labor and material price. So understand that it doesn't matter which one, you just got to make sure that they are all the same.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So that you're comparing them apples to apples and not apples to oranges. When you are comparing them apples to oranges, a lot of times you feel like you may have gotten a deal, but if you put those materials down on paper and you put everything down on paper and line them up, a lot of times we go with the wrong one because we don't take the time and we don't count it out because we don't understand the difference between them. So apples to apples with all of them.
One of the things we are doing is we're going to give away a sample binder at the end. So if you want a binder of all these things we're talking about so that you can customize it to what you want to do, drop the word binder in the comments and we'll make sure we send you that file at the end. Absolutely. So if you want that binder, just drop binder.
Drop binder in the chat and we'll make sure you have it. All right. So Tonio, we talk about this a lot with our students, but I don't think we talk about it a lot when it comes to REI Decoded.
Okay.
When it comes to your rehabs, there is a triangle that takes place no matter what. No matter how you cut it, this triangle is always in the forefront. What are those pieces of that triangle?
If you don't get nothing else out of this training, get this. All right. If you don't drop binder, if you don't listen to the contracts we talk about, if you don't listen to nothing else we talk about, this is probably for beginners and people who've never done a full rehab. This is going to be the most important thing you get out of today's training. All right. When you're looking for a contractor, there is three things that you're looking for. All right. You're looking for the quality, you're looking for their price, and you're looking at the time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
A good contractor for you who are doing a full remodel is going to have two of the three. All right. There's not a contractor alive that's gonna have all three, y'all. I'm telling you from experience, there's not one alive that's gonna have all three. There's not a contractor who's gonna have the best quality. He gonna be readily available, get done quick, and have the best price. They do not exist.
They do not.
I'm telling you, and it took us a long time to understand that.
It took us a lot of headaches, a lot of arguing with the contractors to not understand, like, oh, it just doesn't work like that. So let's give them an example of what it looks like.
In an ideal world, if you can find a contractor that has two of the three, you just work on that last point. Mm-hmm. All right. So, example, if you find a contractor that has good quality and a good price, just know it's gonna take him a little longer to do the work, y'all.
Yes.
Either it's gonna take him longer to get to you, so which means you gotta plan ahead of time, or once he get there, it's gonna take him longer to finish the project.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's gonna save you a lot of headache. Two of the three. All right. Let's reverse it. Let's say that I find somebody that got good quality and they can do it fast. You're gonna pay for that. Mm-hmm. Just point blank period. He's not going to be the cheapest person you see. You're gonna pay a premium for that type of contract. If he fast and got good quality, you gotta pay for it. Mm-hmm. All right.
Y'all got that? Tell me those three things. Type it in the chat. What are the 3 points in the triangle, in the contractor's triangle? Let me see if y'all got it.
And depending on what the contractor's doing, depends on the ones that we prioritize the most. All right. So I'm gonna give y'all some examples. If we are doing electrical, all right, quality's got to be on point.
That's number one.
We can't play around with electric. We got to pay the electrician, all right? I want to make sure I get a high-quality electrician. Ideally, I want to try to get a good price. But the only way I'm going to get a good price is if I plan him out a week or two in advance. But if I get to a situation where I need an electrician now, I just know that I'm going to pay a higher price for that person, all right? But let's say when it comes to yard work, for me, I don't too much care about yard work, just to be totally honest with you. And I'm telling you, it's not a good thing. But quality, I ain't really stressed about the quality a lot of times. If you can get it done and give me a good price, I'm cool.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be elaborate. As long as it looks clean and nice, we do it.
So each contractor, you're going to have to choose out of those 3 points, what two is important to you. All right. And whenever you choose it and that third point peak his head up, you can't get mad. All right. You just gotta accept it and work with it.
That does not mean you have to fire your contractor. That just means, hey, if timing is one of the things that they're not good at, let's talk to them about speeding it up. Let's talk to them about, is there anything else that I can help you with in order to get this moving smoother? And I see y'all going in the chat. That's right. Quality, time, and price. Those are the 3 points in the contractor's triangle.
Right? And you're not, for a lot of times, you're not going to know these things until you start working with them. Mm-hmm. But when you start working with them, that's why it's so important to start. Mm-hmm. All right. A lot of people get caught up on
trying to make sure everything's perfect before they even start. No, start it. That is the most important thing, because you can adjust while you're doing it. All right. I see y'all binders in the chat. To everybody that is interested in getting our contractor binder, we're going to get that to you. Thanks for dropping your name in the chat. We'll make sure you get it. Let's talk about the relationship when it comes to contractors. I have so many people that when I first started, I was really hard on the contractors. I was really hard, not understanding, thinking I had to be bad cop all the time when it came to our contractors. Because if you know Antonio in my role, Antonio is good cop, I am bad cop. But even with being the bad cop, I had to understand how to develop a relationship with our contractors, how to make them our friends, how to make them like priority in our lives. And that sounds crazy, but yes, they become priority in your lives because they're going to help you make money or lose money when it comes to investing. So you want to make sure that you are always on the same page with them, that you are always on one accord with them, that you know their family, like you are active in their lives because they are active in your lives. So building that relationship, making them friends was so important for us, so important for me to do because you can't always be bad cop. Like people are human. You got to understand that it's a process with all of this. So showing them that we care, showing them that I care, um, is something that I had to develop over the years.
And to add to what Anthony said, don't be afraid to bring them a box of pizza on Friday. Don't be afraid to bring them a case of beers. Like show them that
Water bottles,
a case, 24 case of water. Like show them that you value them.
yeah,
Like they want to be valued. So show them you value them. Show them that they are important to you. And honestly, they are important,
they
y'all.
are so
Like
important.
once you really get into real estate, before you start, this is what I'm gonna tell people. Okay, I'm gonna ask this question: if you have not done a investment property yet, drop me a one in the chat. I've never done an investment property before. I'm trying to get my first one. I'm trying to get it done. All right, so I'm gonna read y'all minds. All right, so I'm gonna get some ones in there. I know some of our students on here who ain't did a project.
If you haven't
done a project, give me a one. All right. And I'm going to read y'all minds, all right? But I'm also going to tell you how to get to the next level a little faster, all right? So before you start doing investing, all right, this is your thought process. Your thought process is, I got to find the money. Your thought process is, I got to find the properties. Your thought process is, I got fear of doing this. Mm-hmm. Like these are all the things that new investors experience.
Yeah.
All right. I ain't got the money. I gotta find these properties. Or I ain't got a team. All right. I ain't got no lawyers. I ain't like you create these things, and all of those are very good things to understand that you need. But I'm gonna tell you the thing that you do not know you need that you overlook for the people who've never done a project. Mm-hmm. It's contract.
Yeah, because you feel like, oh, well, I had Billy Joe, and Billy Joe did the interior of my house. He painted my kitchen for me, and he did a really good job, and he gave me a good price. But what you didn't know is he gave you a good price from a retail standpoint, not from an investor standpoint. And you go into the project knowing I already got a contractor in mind, but you haven't looked at the numbers to make sure that the numbers between the contractor you have in mind and what you can literally do on this project, if it'll work. Most of the times, the contractors that we use on our personal properties, on our primary residences, are not the contractors that we use from an investment.
80% of the time.
Like, I can't tell you how many of my students say, I have a contractor, and then in the middle of the project, they're like, I can't use this contract anymore. I don't even know why I went with them. I went with my gut when I shouldn't have. I went with my emotions when I shouldn't have. I should have looked at the numbers. It wasn't a deal to go with this contractor from the beginning. I'm going to be over budget 20, 30,000 because of the contractor, y'all.
Or they try to go with a family member. Like like between a family member and a contractor you use on your personal house, that's not the one. I'm telling you, there is a slim chance that contractor is the one. All right. Contractors that you're looking for are contractors that like to get volume. They're going to give you a better price because you're going to give them more work.
Yeah, because you're going to tell them that you're connected with a team of investors, and when they do good on yours, you're gonna give them hit their number to your team, to your friends, to other people in your network that invest as well. So now they're like, ooh, well, if that's the case, then I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to make sure we stay on budget. I'm going to have very few change orders when it comes to this deal.
What is a change order, Ashley?
All right, so a change order is, say Antonio and I agreed that in the kitchen.
I'm a contractor now.
Yeah, Antonio's the contractor. Say that we agreed that he is going to do paint, flooring, new cabinets, backsplash in the kitchen. All right. But when he goes down and put the flooring down, we find out that there are some subfloor that needs to be replaced because it's rotten. That's the change order, because we didn't agree that we were doing subfloor. We just said we were doing flooring. We didn't say we were replacing any rotten subfloor. So now Antonio was going to charge me an extra price because of this subfloor, because he didn't negotiate to rip out a floor and put in a new one. So that's the change order. Any changes that are made to the original contract.
And the original contract, whether it's a time delay change order or a work relay change order or a financial change order, like all those affect the project and what's going on.
Yeah.
You got a question?
And it affects the timeline.
Don't forget, y'all ask y'all questions about these contractors, all right?
Mm-hmm. So, Ms. Kimber said, how often should you check in on the contractor's progress? At minimum, every day. At minimum, every day.
Every day. Especially if it's your first one. Every day, put your feet on that project. Mm-hmm. Or have somebody put their feet on their project if you're doing it from a distance. Mm-hmm. But every day, you need to put your feet on that project and talk to them contractors, all right? And there's a couple different reasons you do that. One reason you do it is because if something is wrong, you can talk about it ahead of time. Mm-hmm. If something looks off, you can talk about it before you get too far gone. Also, you need to go every day, because if you don't show up,
they don't show up. Sorry, I got emotional about that. That was a scar. Big scar down.
Go on, baby.
Yeah, if you don't show up, then they don't show up because they feel like it's not important. So what happens is they start doing other projects, another job, and before you know it, something that was supposed to take 2-3 days to do, to be able to get to the draw, you ain't show up, you ain't calling, you ain't asking if they need anything. So guess what? They out there doing another job trying to get in quick money because your money is going to take them longer to make. So you become back, like you literally fall back on your, I'm laughing so hard too. You literally fall back from a timeline perspective. And remember, every day is money. So every day you have that loan, you are paying money and interest on that loan. So yes, you want to show up as often as possible. Marcus said 2 times a day. No, literally, you want to be.
You want to be there. Present. I'm telling you, because if you got a solid construction crew, they're moving. They're doing 2 or 3 things at a time. So if you go in the morning and the evening, that's good. I'm gonna tell y'all about Marcus.
Things can change drastically from the morning and the afternoon. Like, yes. You can go from not having the entire house painted to having the entire house painted the wrong color. Like, be there.
Friends, with Marcus, y'all, we rather than Marcus so much because Marcus had a virtual job at the time. And Marcus would pull up to the construction site and he would work virtually at the house. And he'll go in every chance he get and see what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
But it was great though. It was great. He learned so much doing that. It was amazing. Like now, he moving so much better in this construction world because he did. Mm-hmm. So even though we're laughing at 2 times a day, it's not crazy to say 2 times a day, y'all.
Yeah.
At minimum, we said you at minimum 1 time a day.
Yeah. The more, the better. The often you do it, the better, because you're going to eliminate some of the hiccups. You're going to see some things that maybe they don't see because they're doing the project versus you coming into the project. And it just helps so much better. It just helps so much better.
And it doesn't have to always be a, hey, you need to fix this. Hey, in a aggressive tone. It can always be, hey, what you think about this right here? If you see something that's not.
Is it possible we can fix that? Or
is this done right here? Oh no, but that ain't done. Okay. Man, that look a little uneven right now. What you think about? Like, just point the things I have conversations about them. Don't necessarily be aggressive and down their throat about everything in the project.
Yeah, because remember, at the end of the day, you are building a relationship with them. You guys are going to be pretty much married to each other as you are doing projects. You want them to have your best interest in heart, and you want them to know that you have their best interest in heart. So it becomes a real family dynamic. The closer you become, the better that relationship is, and the better you're able to understand each other's language and to be able to move through that project.
And once you get a good one, man, it changes so much because you be wondering about projects. Like when you got a bad contractor, you be like, but when you got a good one, you want about projects. Even you might buy a project sometimes just to keep them working, even if it's not a huge profit center in it. But you know that it's a good project for them. It's gonna put money in their pocket. It's gonna keep them working. You might make a smaller portion, but sometimes you do that to make sure that you can keep your contractor going.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I work in an environment where I encounter a lot of Hispanics that do contractor work. Is it okay to look at them for hire? Absolutely. Everywhere you go, if you see a contractor, you want to be talking to them. If you see a house on your street being renovated, you want to hop out the car and find out who's in charge. Talk to them. Look at the quality of their work so that you know exactly what it is that they do. What are they good at? What are they not good at? Are they bringing in anyone else in the project? Like, you get to see it firsthand. So yes, when you go into Home Depot and Lowe's, go to the pro counter, go to the pro desk and ask, what good contractors coming here that you guys recommend? They got their phone numbers. Like, always, always, always be looking for contractors. And this isn't what we're talking about, but let me say this real quick. You want to have 5 of everything. All right. So 5 roofers, 5 electricians, 5 GCs, 5 HVAC specialists. Like, you want to have 5 of everything, because that is going to help you to understand if you're getting a good deal, if you're not getting a good deal, and if one contract is not available, you have options to choose from.
Yes. A couple pointers I would say, if you got Hispanic people you're working with, use the translator app. That really helps sometimes the communication, because sometimes that can be a barrier. It might have one person that speaks pretty solid English, but use the translator app on Google. Also, you can translate your contract. I think Nikki just did this. And I've never personally did it, but you can translate your contract until their language so that they can understand it. Mm-hmm. So that helps with the communication and the language barrier when it comes to the project, because there's already a language barrier if both of us speak English when it comes to construction. Adding another language barrier on top of you speak your language, I speak English, that just makes it even tougher. So you got to be there more often, have more conversations, and make sure everything's on paper.
Absolutely. Any other questions before we go into what your draw process should look like? Any other questions? If you guys are just joining in, and one of the things that we're going to give away today is our rehab binder, what goes in our rehab binder, so that you can make it, customize it for yourself. Drop binder in the chat. All right, drop binder in the chat, and we'll make sure you get access to our rehab binder.
What time? Let's go to the bonus. Let's pull some of that
up. Okay. All right. So go ahead while I pull it up.
So in the binder, y'all heard us talk about this binder. This is our rehab binder. All right. And what we do with this binder is we actually print this stuff out and we put it in the binder and we take it to the project. All right. And we tell them, hey, either this binder is going to stay in the kitchen drawer, or it's going to be in a closet, But this binder is not to leave this property. All right. It's not to leave this property. All right. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go over the list of everything that's in this binder. Then we're going to pull up some examples of those things. So your contractor contract is in this binder. Mm-hmm. All right. Your scope of work is in this binder. Your lien waivers are in this binder. And when I go what a lien waiver is after I finish the list, your change order process is in this binder. Your payment schedule is in this binder. Invoices are in this binder. Your picture scope of work is in this binder. That picture scope of work is so important. Your approved material list is in this binder. Your timeline, your project timeline is in this binder. The list of items and who's supposed to do these items are in this binder. Mm-hmm. If you got an 80% contractor and he's not doing plumbing, it's in this binder. Who's doing what part of the project is in this binder. All right. So that's why we try to say, hey, if you're just finding your contractors, you might can't get to all this stuff. But once you start to scale, this is what helps you in your communication with your contractor. If it's not on paper, it does not exist.
It does not exist, you guys.
If it's not on paper, it does not exist. I don't care if you walk through and you talk to you blue in the face to your contractor. If it's not in this contract, if it's not in this binder, it does not exist. Because when they get into these projects, they get amnesia, they get over budget, and they don't want to do nothing. They're trying to find everything to take off of this list because they're quick to say, we didn't talk about that. I don't remember that. If it's not on paper,
it does not exist.
It does not exist. All right. So the first thing that we want to show is
we'll do the contractor contract.
The contractor contract. All right.
All right. So this contractor contract talks about who's doing this. So you're gonna put you're gonna put your client name. You're going to make sure you have your start and end date. All right. That is so important. All right. And then for us, we do every day that we're behind, it's a $50 deduction as far as delay for the project. So if you don't put this and it takes them 3 months after the date and you don't have any penalties, hey, that's because you didn't have it. All right. This is the liability. You want to know what their insurance coverage is, who their insurance with. You want to make sure this property address is added on it. You want to make sure that you are added to the liability if anything happens. And you want to make sure you know everybody that is going to be a part of their projects, their subcontractors, their contractors, and you want to make sure they sign it. All right. And then this is our payment policy. We tell them this is so important for us because a lot of contractors, if they finish work Friday morning, they want to get paid by Friday afternoon. So we have this little clause in here that says we do not inspect on holidays, weekends, or after 3 p.m. on Fridays. So don't expect us to stop what we're doing because you finished at 3:30 for you to get paid at 4 o'clock. It does not work like that. There's a process. Our team never gives upfront start money to start a job. They need to know that we're not going to give you money to just pull up at our project. Nope, that's not how we do it. Your policy may be different. Please allow 24 to 36 hour window for work to be inspected. We inspect all work in the order that we receive completion notifications. If you are not done, do not call us.
That's so big right there.
Do not call us if you are not done. And don't expect me to drop all my meetings, drop my plans to come and see it because all of a sudden it's a rush to pay your crew. If it was a rush, I should have finished on Thursday, not Friday. All right. So we do not do it on holidays. We won't check on holidays. Like all of that information is important because we don't want anywhere you didn't tell me. Please bring an invoice to receive your payment. We like to put sample invoices in there based on our draw schedule, so you're not asking for something outside of the norm. If we said that when you do A, B, C, D, you're going to get paid $3,000, well, don't come at 1,500 and say, well, I did half of it. No, we're paying 3,000, 3,005, whatever that is. So that is extremely important. And guess what? If you don't have an invoice, we're going to deduct $5 because that means somebody on our staff has to do it. So
this is a great piece right here. This payment policy keep a lot of confusion down because contractors want to get paid as soon as they finish. And if you have multiple projects going on, it's going to drive you crazy because they're going to be calling on the weekends. They're going to be calling after hours. But you set this foundation and they understand what your expectations are.
This literally allowed us to have control of our lives because without this, we were like going wherever they needed us, like we were going crazy. But this allowed us to have control over our lives to say, no, it's the weekend, this is family time, we're not doing it. It's a holiday, we're out of town, we're not doing it. It clearly states it, and we make them initial and sign it to make sure that they've read it and they understand it. All right, this is our payment schedule. First payment, what does it look like? Who's the contractor? What's the property address? What business entity is it in? What's the date that it should be completed? What's the amount? Most importantly, what are our milestones and benchmarks to get it done? All right. What does that look like? When are we paying? We're not paying half of a milestone. We paying when the full milestone is created. And it's important to understand what that milestone is before you even start that project with that contractor. If you don't know it,
super important.
you need to figure it out. Yeah, because that's gonna cost you a lot of money if you don't know when to pay them.
And a lot of headache.
All right, all the way to second, third, fourth, however many more you need. Just keep building on it. I suggest do no more than 4, but if you need more, depending on the project, do it. Make sure the client dates it, make sure the contractor dates it, make sure everybody's on the same thing. And then I literally like to outline our scope of work in this section. So hence why it's a full page. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 pages, but we're not guessing on what work needs to be done. We are literally outlining what needs to be done. If you are doing my tile, I need to know that you're gonna install the tile. You are gonna, if you're gonna demo it, we're gonna demo it. We're gonna install the tile. We're gonna put mortar. We're gonna put grout. We're gonna clean it. Like those steps need to be in there because you're gonna run into that same situation where Antonio and I ran into, where the guy was like, "Oh no, my job is just to lay the tile." No, your job is to lay the tile, clean the tile. I need this to be picture ready when I'm pulling out.
Two other situations we ran into is we paid a guy to install some flooring, and he installed the flooring, but we didn't specify that we wanted quarter round installed. So he said that's another fee. So he's like, we paid you to install the floor. He's like, well, that's another person's job. I don't do that.
I don't install
it. Another thing we had was we paid the outside of the house, but they didn't paint the porch. He didn't tell me to paint the porch.
He said, well, it's attached to the house. He said, no, that's the porch. This is the house. I painted the exterior. I did not charge you to paint the porch too. So being very specific on what it is that you need done is so important.
Do the picture scope of work. So if you have never done a project, this might be a little difficult for you to come up with this, but you can find pictures online or pictures that's on the market of what you want your house to look like.
This is the house for real that we had the issue where Tonio was about to fight the tile guy.
This is that.
He was about to fight the tile guy in the house for leaving the tile with haze. This is actually
so keep in mind, we are putting this in the binder, all right? We're printing this off old school style. Can you have an electronic version?
Yes.
But a lot of times, the person you hire isn't the person that's going to be there all the time.
That's doing
so anybody there can go to this booklet and see what we want. All right. These pictures are so important so that people understand what we want. People can't read English, but they can see.
You can paint the vision. All right. So what am I doing? What am I painting? I'm painting the exterior. I'm repairing any rotting wood. I'm painting the gutters. I'm doing the trim. Here's my colors. I need a 5-gallon. Don't paint my windows. Like the gutters need to be copper. The front and back door should be red. All shutters should be black. Here is the paint that we're getting. Here is the Rust-Oleum that we're getting. Like these are the things that we are getting. So we're not guessing. I don't want you in the store putting in something different than what I have here. This is the base. It's the bleeding paint. It's a 5-gallon, and these are the hues that need to be in it.
Yeah. So you can also take that number at the bottom and give it to the Home Depot paint person, and they'll print it, and they can pull it up in their system and give you the exact paint.
And my paint, when it's finished, need to look like this paint. So you're not guessing. If it's darker, then it's not.
So they right.
It's not the right paint. If it's red, it's not the right paint. Because this, I'm showing you an example of it and going over this with them. Don't just give it to them and expect them to figure it out. No, go over this with them. Spend that time. This is what I want my interior to look like. Yeah, it went too fast. There we go. This is what I want it to look like. And yes, these are all of our properties that we've done. Let me say that. But this is what I want it to look like. Is it looks different, then you did something wrong. I want shoe molding. I want bathroom walls painted. I want the ceiling painted. I want the ceiling painted.
Yes.
They will not paint the ceiling if you do not tell them.
Let me ask a D question.
Dietrich said, how do you make sure they don't remove the binder?
One of the reasons I'm putting my foot on the project every day, I'm making sure that binder's
there every day.
Every day, I'm making sure that binder's there. I'm putting my eyes on it. I'm checking everything else that's going on.
And if I don't see it in the spot because maybe they had to move it, then I'll say, hey, where's the binder? Okay, you put it in that top closet. Okay.
So one thing that, and this is details, say that you understand. We don't just print it out and put it in there. We put it in protective sleeves.
Protectors, yes.
So we'll put the paper in protective sleeves, like in school in the project. That way, it don't get. If it gets dirty, you can wipe it off. Like it's not just paper that can crumble. It's in a protective sleeve to where it lasts a little longer.
Mm-hmm. All right. These are my other approved paint colors. If it's not it, then don't use it. All right. What I want. Garage and storage area. My garage floor paint is going to be different than my exterior paint. These are what I want to use. All right.
And these are go up. You went too fast right now. So like this is the garage. This is a picture of what I want the garage to look like. Mm-hmm. I want my walls killed. I want my floor painted. If I want my ceiling painted, I put that picture in there. But this is giving them an idea of what I want it to look like.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to go through all of it because you guys are going to get a copy of it. I want to make sure I go to the materials list. But make sure you drop binder in the chat if you want access to this folder. Make sure you put binder in the chat. So over the years, we started to make sure we knew exactly what materials we were gonna use. So we don't want any hiccups. We want to make sure that you know exactly what materials are approved, from what stores they belong to. And this also helps us with our construction coordinator being able to go in and know exactly, okay, these are the light fixtures that we need. This is the range hood that we need. This is the link on where we buy it. These are our Amazon orders. These are the items that we get from Floor & Decor, and pictures so that we know. We are not redesigning a new house every time, all right? We have approved lists, all right? These are literally the items that we purchased from Home Depot and the items that we know that we're going to constantly use over and over again. We're going to know if the floor is uneven, then we may need some self-level, and we're going to know exactly, okay, self-level costs this much. This is how much we are projecting from a material standpoint. And so, yes, on your first one, you're not going to have all these, but over time, you're going to start to add and pick exactly which ones you want, all right? And then loads, all. But this is literally just to know, okay, these are the items that I need, and this is the going rate for them. Because when the prices go up, you need to know that the doors went up in price and how much they cost. Mm-hmm. Toilets went up in price and how much they cost. To make sure that you're still staying on budget when it comes to your renovations. All right.
All right. So now let me say this.
Okay.
For this right here, if we are doing a labor only price, I don't really put that part in the binder. All right, this is more about in-house stuff. But if we're doing labor and material, I go through and pick the ones I want and put that in the binder. So they're just not picking anything. A lot of times when you do labor and material, they're just going to give you the build the grade stuff. Like I don't want build the grade stuff in my house. Like that's not the product that we put out. We try to put out a product right below retail but above build the grade. So we try to find things that are high quality, but it might not cost as much.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So you don't have to put this in the binder. This is good for you to have in your repertoire.
For ordering your materials.
Yes.
And for estimating what it's going to be.
Now this goes into the binder.
Yes. So you want a date for what are the expectations? First off, what are the expectations? What's the start date? What's the end date? What's the invoice process? How do you want your invoices? Do you want them emailed to you? Do you want them delivered to your office? Do you want to schedule a time? Like you're going to outline what does that look like? All right. When are they paid out? Do you only pay out once a month? Do you pay out every 15 days? Like what is your payment schedule? Everybody's on this
different. So like one of our mentors, Ramon, his payout schedule is he checks work on Tuesday, and whatever he checks on Tuesday get paid on Friday. So that's kind of how he operates. Everybody know that he's coming around on Tuesday to check work. Based on that, you get paid Friday. So everybody does it a little different. You just gotta find what works best for you.
Mm-hmm. What's the process for change orders? All change orders, who are they sent to? In this case, they're sent to Antonio. He's gonna order a walkthrough to view it before it's approved, and he's probably gonna negotiate. He's probably gonna negotiate on what that change order is gonna be.
Okay. And you got to make sure you tell your contractor. Just because you send a change order doesn't mean it was approved.
That does not mean it was approved.
Don't just start doing this change order if you haven't got my approval yet. Don't go replace this form if I ain't told you how much I'm gonna pay you, or I agree to the price that you suggest.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's super important.
It's highly important. And let me say this: we had a contractor, and I know we're gonna go. We had a contractor that saw.
Best job.
He saw that it was a water leak in one of the houses, and he called his own plumber. He was hired to do painting, I think.
Yeah.
And he called his plumber and told his plumber to fix it. Like, thank you for going above and beyond. But the plumber came to the office and said, "Here's my invoice," and we didn't even know that we had an issue.
Like, bro, who are you?
That we had an issue, that he fixed anything. We had to prove it.
Who hired you?
Who hired you?
Like, how do you know where my office is, bro?
Right, and you came with the invoice. Like, I didn't agree to this price, so make sure that it is understandable that all change orders, if you see anything, it needs to be ran by me. Don't hire anybody to the job if you are not doing the full job. Don't hire anybody into the job. Otherwise, it's coming off your money, not mine. Yeah. So that is so important, and we have to make sure that it's done. All right. These scars, y'all, are real scars. All right. You don't get this from just doing 10, 15 projects. Like, this is from doing over 200 projects and having scars, having things that happen because this wasn't in place.
And I'm gonna say this. I kind of said in the beginning. Don't get so caught up on all that stuff we showed y'all. All right. Even our students really don't hear about that part of it because most of our students are just getting started. Like, there's a whole nother set of issues and challenges that you gotta address before you can even really get into this binder.
Because you're probably not gonna know your paint color, and if you do, you may pick it, but you may not like it. You may go between your first 3 projects with different paints before you really say that's the one. Mm-hmm. That's the way I want it. Even when it comes to light fixtures and water fixtures, like, you may go through a few before you say, okay, that's the best bang for my buck. It's big enough for me. I like the way it looks. Mm-hmm. Before you start building out that list. But what I do want to encourage you is, as you are doing it, keep your paint.
Document this stuff.
Document the process, because it makes it so much easier when it's time to go from 1 to 3, from 3 to 10.
Yes, and that's our main reason of showing y'all this is we want y'all to start planning towards building a binder like this.
Mhm.
And you don't want to have to go back for a project later, be like, oh, let me go see, can I find this? No, start
What
building
did I
it now.
use?
What did I use? What contract did I use? Like, start building it from the beginning
Mhm.
so that you can have this binder. Because when you go from 1 to 2, that's a big jump. And when I say 1 to 2, I'm talking about one project at a time versus 2 projects at a time.
Yeah.
It can get real crazy.
Yeah, and then as you start building it, like you have to start putting systems in place because it just goes haywire in a matter of no time. Ask me how I know.
Yep.
Major stars.
Any questions before we go, man? Don't forget, if you want those documents we shared, put binder in the chat. We'll definitely send that over to you. Now it's not going to be edible, but you're going to be able to copy it and then make it edible on your end. Okay?
Yeah.
Did I say that right, Ashley?
Yeah, you did.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Dietrich. Dietrich said this was valuable information. Good. If you learned something today, give me a fire in the chat. If you learned something, give me a fire in the chat.
Fire. We do have a masterclass coming up. That is Wednesday. So if you've never been to one of our master classes, make sure you come to one. We're going to start charging for these soon. So take advantage of them while they're free. Don't say, I should have came, I would have came. Like, the information we giving out on these master class change lives. I'm telling y'all. Like, yes, we have a coaching program. Yes, we do this to make money, but that's not the only reason we do it, y'all. We do it to give people information, to give them a blueprint to get going. All right. So if you're not signed up for our masterclass, man, our Wealth Without Limits, sign up for this workshop. I'm telling you, it will not disappoint.
All right. It is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central. You can go to www.thedenmarks.us/wealth workshop. Again, it's /wealth workshop. If you get mixed up, just go to www.thedenmarks.us and you'll see Wealth Without Limits workshop. Click on it. You must register in order to get the link to join in. All right. It's not going to be on Facebook Live. It's not going to be on YouTube.
You must register.
You must register in order to attend. All right. Anything else last minute before I forget? I think that's it. I see y'all fires in the chat. Good stuff.
Let's go, Miss Parker.
Miss Kimber. Okay. I see y'all. Absolutely. Well, you guys have an amazing day. We hope to see you guys tomorrow evening with our Wealth Without Limits workshop. So we can just dive a little bit deeper. All right. We love you guys. Have an amazing day.
Peace.